Welcome to Hairblazers, the podcast where seasoned salon owners and industry specialists share their knowledge. Our mission is to empower owners and elevate salons through conversation about what matters most to you. Over the past 5 years, I have helped hundreds of stylists build their following and their social media presence. Here's the best place to start if you want to succeed on social media and build your book this year. The first thing is to focus on getting consistent. Before you try and master anything else, get comfortable posting at least 3 times a week. That could mean scheduling a day where you batch and schedule all of your content. It could be getting an accountability buddy, or it could be doing something like creating caption templates. Identify where you are getting stuck and how you can work through it. Engage, and engage again. Social media is meant to be social, and honestly, it's way more fun that way. Plus, if you're networking, you're putting yourself out there, you are way more likely to connect with potential guests. Finally, get curious and get education. Talk to your salon owner about bringing in an educator to help you grow your business, because when stylists grow, salons grow too. My name is Naomi. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications for the Aveda Institute Winnipeg and for the Verde Salon Group. And today I am here bringing you a solo episode. And this is one of the things that you were all asking for at our end of the year survey. One of the topics you really wanted to hear more about and that you thought was an area of improvement for your salon is, of course, marketing. And marketing is my favorite topic, of course. So today we really wanted to talk about all of the top social tips to help you succeed this year. And these 20 tips work for both stylists and for salons. So let's get into it. This one is more stylist focused to kick us off. And first, that is have a photo of your face be your bio photo on Instagram, on TikTok, on any social media you have. And for businesses, you, of course, would want to have your logo. But on the stylist side, the reason why we recommend showing your face and especially showing your eyes is because, when they do eye tracking research, what actually happens is on digital screens, when we're looking at things, we spend more time looking at images of people's faces. So having your face there is just a way to get a little bit more attention on your page, and even a little bit more attention can make a big impact. Second is to make the most of your name field. This is a searchable field on Instagram, and it can make a huge difference for you. So instead of just saying, my name's Naomi, a lot of stylists will just have Naomi or Naomi Breen, for example. What I always recommend doing is doing Naomi Winnipeg hairstylist or Naomi location hairstylist or location salon. Because if people are looking for Winnipeg salon, Winnipeg stylist, or whatever your location is, that name field being searchable means you are a lot more likely to actually show up. The third section you really want to dig into is your bio. And this is where a lot of people go wrong, I find, because a lot of people in their bio, they're like, here's some info about me. Here's what I love to do. Here is, why I created this page. Or, in terms of businesses, here's why we're in business. And, your why can be a very powerful thing, but your bio isn't necessarily the best place to communicate it. In your bio, what you really want to focus on is what's in it for me. And when I say for me, I mean for the person who's actually coming to your profile. If they're visiting your profile, they're making a very, very kind of split-second decision about whether or not they want to follow you. They might take, even max up to like 20, 30 seconds to take in your profile. And if your bio is like, I like this and that and the other thing, and, I live in Winnipeg and XYZ, that doesn't really give a clear communication about what value you can provide to that person. You want to be really value focused in the bio. So first of all, letting somebody know who you are, where to find you, that's kind of your basics. And if you have that in your name field, that's great. Secondly, in terms of what's in it for me, think about what makes you different. Is there something you specialize in? Is there something that you really want your guests to feel? Is there something that you provide that's above and beyond? What makes you different? What makes your guests go to you specifically as a stylist or you specifically as a salon? And try and incorporate that value in your bio. So as soon as somebody comes and checks out your profile, within the first 5 seconds, they're receiving that information about what is in it for them, because that captures people's interest way faster than just a bunch of random words of things that you like or things that you do as a stylist. The last thing you always want to include in your bio is a call to action. This is a really, really critical component that a lot of people kind of miss out on, or, they include a statement that's pretty wishy-washy instead of something strong. So at the bottom of your bio, right above where the link to book online is, or maybe a phone number if your salon doesn't have online booking, what you want to include is telling people who come to your page the action that you want them to take. So, for example, this could be DM me to get on my waiting list. This could be click below to book an appointment. This could be reserve your appointment now. There's so many different kind of variations of what you can do here, but it's important to tell people to take an action when they come to your page, because following you is great, but a follow doesn't necessarily always turn into a guest or money in your pocket or money in the bank account as a business. Number 4 is social proof. So, social proof is just a fancy word for your reviews. Because if I'm a business, I can say all day that I'm the best. I do this the best. Our color services are the best. Our experience is the best. Our customer service is the best. XYZ is the best. But the thing that's going to be the most powerful is if people who have voluntarily come into my business and spent money are also saying, this person is amazing, because then it's not just coming from me, it's coming from my entire social circle. And we're also just more likely to trust that. If you are on any online shopping site, or if you're, like searching through restaurants, if you see something that has 1 5-star review versus if you see something that has like 1,000 reviews and like a 4.98 star rating, you're like, that is what I'm going to go for, because I can tell that a lot of people have been there, and overall the results have been very, very positive. So taking a look at that, you want to do something similar. You want to showcase the positive reviews that you've gotten. And even a little bit more specifically than that, having somebody say the color was great, or they were so nice, or the salon was so clean, those are all good points. And those are all great things to hear about your salon. But the things that are really, really powerful and really going to impact people are the ones that are a little bit more emotional. So when you're choosing reviews to use, try and find those feeling words. Try and find people who, I felt like $1,000,000 when I left, or I've never felt so heard and understood by a stylist, or I've never experienced customer service at this level. Try and find the things that are very impactful and utilize those, because more people are going to connect with them and it's going to make a bigger difference for your business. If people are thinking about coming and seeing you, they want to know what other consumers think. Number 5, if you want to build your following this year, whether you're a salon, whether you're a stylist, ask your guests to follow you. Yeah, it's that simple. It really is. If you're a stylist and you have like 5, 6 people sitting in your chair every single day, that's potentially like 6 new followers you could get every single day. And if you're a little shy about saying like, oh, like here's my account, can you follow me? Then you can also just say, hey, what is your Instagram handle? I would love to follow you so I can tag you in the photos that I took of you, or something similar. And if you're a salon, you could also run a brief promotion. For example, you could be like, follow us on Instagram this month and enter to win a $50 gift card. And then we enter all of our new followers into win a $50 gift card and DM the winner at the end of the month. It can be really simple. Obviously, in that case, it's better to just be able to showcase, here's where you can find us, here's where you can find this content. You don't necessarily always want to be like incentivizing things for your guests, but I mean, if you really want to push, if you had to create a new account, any sorts of those things, it's a good way to boost your numbers in terms of followers, and especially valuable followers who are actually coming in to see you. You may be wondering, isn't Instagram supposed to recruit new people? What's really the value of having my existing customers follow me? There is actually a ton of value in that, because you are able to have another touch point where you can remarket them and retarget them. So for example, say you have a long time cut guest who loves the service, loves coming in, but pretty much exclusively does haircuts. And maybe there's somebody who has gray hair and wants to keep their gray hair and is maybe not super interested in getting color. But maybe they see that you have another guest who's also gray that you maybe did some highlights or lowlights on or did some gray blending. Then they might see that and be like, oh, this person that I already like provides this service that seems like it would be a good fit for me. It's a great opportunity to build your community with people who already like what you're doing and may potentially come back for more in the future. Number 6, this is one that I see going super, super underutilized for salons, and that is use the collaboration feature. If this is something that's new to you or you're not entirely sure where this lives, when you are about to post something, when you go into like the tag people option, you also have a little button in there that says invite collaborator. And in there, you can invite your salon or you can invite your stylist to collaborate with you. One caveat to this, if you're posting a reel, and for example, of course, your salon would probably be a business profile. If your stylist is using music on a reel that isn't licensed for a business profile, you wouldn't be able to have the collab feature work. But otherwise, collabs can be fantastic. So, as we all know, the big challenge is your stylists take photos, they post them on your social, and then whoever's running your social has to pull them down, maybe edit them, add a new caption, tag the stylist, and repost them. So you have two of the same image in different places, and they're being seen by mostly two different audiences, or even, there may be some overlap between those audiences. The better thing to do is educate your stylist on using the collab feature, have a specific set of requirements for, a collab being accepted by the salon, and collab on those posts, specifically the hair posts between the stylist and the salon. So the benefit of that is that you can actually have that one post appear on both profiles at the same time and be seen by both audiences. So you're going to get a wider reach. Your stylists are going to love it because they're being seen by more people. If there's somebody who's following the salon, who's maybe looking for somebody to go see but hasn't actually taken the plunge and gone to the salon yet, this can be an awesome opportunity for, that person who's been prospecting the salon to potentially go and see that stylist. They just get seen by more people, which is fantastic. And it can make a big difference in those end results. Plus, it saves time, it saves energy, and it is just all around a really, really useful feature. So if you're a salon and you haven't implemented this, next staff meeting, take 5 minutes, educate your stylist on the collab feature, and start using it. Number 7, and I cannot stress this enough, viral vertical video. This is Reels, this is TikToks, this is YouTube Shorts, this is whatever the heck they're calling Facebook Reels. This is all of the places where you can have a full screen vertical video. And when you think about having a video where you're able to capture the entirety of somebody's phone screen and the entirety of that attention, it's pretty insane. If you think about the amount of money in marketing that we pay for a few seconds of somebody's attention for a small portion of their screen, it's really amazing to see what you can do with these videos organically. Now, that being said, obviously when this is a new feature and there was a lot of demand, so Instagram was pushing this feature out to many people, but there wasn't very much supply in terms of video content. When this feature was first launched, you saw tons and tons of growth on Reels. It's definitely leveled out, but that doesn't mean that you should ignore it as a place to generate more content and as a place to engage with your audience. Video is generally a lot more engaging because there's movement, there's color, there's music, especially compared to a static image. And the amazing thing is that if you actually check your stats, your professional dashboard on Instagram, you will probably see that your posts and your Instagram stories are seen by, 80 to 90% of people who are already following you. Whereas for Reels, you're probably going to see that 80% of people who are seeing your Reels are not already your followers. So if you want to get in front of new eyes, you want to build your audience further, and you want to grow, then Reels are a fantastic way to do that. So even in 2024, definitely do not ignore Reels. This is still a business-making place to be. Number 8 ties into this, but repost where you can. The more you can take one piece of content and disseminate it through multiple platforms, you have more of an opportunity to reach more audiences. And you really don't have to tailor it so much where you're creating like 20 different pieces of content for 20 different platforms. You definitely want to get clear on what your time is available, what your budget is available, what energy you have available, especially if you're the person who's running the social media account. But reposting can be a super valuable tool. For example, obviously Meta owns Instagram and Facebook, so you can set up your Instagram post to also post your professional Facebook account. If you are posting reels, vertical videos, you can repost those in so many different places. You can repost them to TikTok. If you're posting on TikTok, you can post your TikToks on Instagram. And if you're a business, I would also definitely recommend YouTube Shorts. We have gotten a ton of views from YouTube Shorts because, again, you're seeing higher demand is being shown to a lot of people, and also the supply hasn't quite reached that same scale as Instagram's has yet. Don't miss out on extra reach by not maximizing other platforms. Next, let's go to story highlights. So story highlights are something you really need to treat like an FAQ, like a frequently asked questions. What do people need to know? What is top of mind? What are they asking when they actually call the salon? For a lot of people, that could be what services are offered. How much are those services? Where is your location? How do I get there? All of these components can be easily addressed and create a much more seamless experience for somebody who's potentially coming in by including them in your story highlights. If I'm able to access all of that information that I need to know on Instagram, I am more likely to continue through that funnel, finish that process, as opposed to if I have to go to your website, go to a bunch of different pages, search for a bunch of different things, and then determine that it's the right choice. That'll probably push back my decision, or I might even choose to go somewhere else. So in order to capture people's attention really quickly, answer their questions as simply and conveniently as possible, and then get them through your funnel so they'll actually book an appointment with you. Next, engagement is king. Social media is meant to be social, and the Instagram algorithm is really favoring interaction as opposed to just great content. And interaction can be a lot of different things. It can be a like, it can be a comment, it can be a save, it can be a share, it can be a reaction on a story, it can be a DM. There's a lot of different ways that you can get social. And some of these interactions definitely have higher value than others. So for example, a save or a share, you've probably seen on social in the last year or two, you've seen a higher rise in people using the call to action of save this for later, send this to a friend, etc. Those actions are considered more valuable by the algorithm, and your post is more likely to be sent out to more people if you are using them and if you're actually gaining them. So one component of engagement is just replying to people who engage with you. If somebody is commenting on your post, like the comment, reply to the comment. If somebody is engaging in interaction with you, you have to engage in that interaction back. So the first layer is just responding to people who reach out to you, and that's like the bare minimum. The second layer is going out and engaging with others. So a great first step to this is going through your stories, the stories of people that you're following, and just interact with them, like them, respond to them, vote on their polls, all those sorts of things. Another great thing to do is to use the different views that Instagram has available to you. So for example, they have the default feed. You can also select following, and you can just see people that you're following in your feed. There's also a favorites option. So for example, say you're a big account, you're a salon, and you want to make sure you're engaging with maybe influencer partners, your stylists, and a couple other key players. Favorite them all. And then when you're going through, select your favorites feed and then just go through and engage and reply and respond to all of those contacts. It makes such a big difference, and it means that they're more likely to see your content in the future, and also your content is more likely to be shown to their followers as well. Engagement is such a powerful tool, and even if you want to commit 10 minutes a day to just going through and engaging with other people, it definitely makes a difference. And if you only have that 10 minutes a day, take 5 minutes before you post, 5 minutes after you post. I promise it'll increase your performance. Number 11, use new features first and just generally try and be an early adopter. Like we talked about when Reels was a new feature that was introduced by Instagram, they were getting pushed out like crazy. People were getting a absolutely insane amount of views, and we're just getting in front of so many people's eyes for free. So think about it this way. If there's a new feature out, Instagram, TikTok, whatever platform we're talking about, typically pushes that new feature out to more people. So there's high demand, as in it's pushing it out to a lot of people are seeing it, but there's not as much supply. because there isn't as much of that content available. So if you're able to get into that pool early when that pool is still small, you are more likely to be seen by more people. And it really does make a difference. Even just keeping an eye out, keeping tabs on if there's a new feature launching, just test it out, try it out, make a couple things with that feature and see if you get better results. Number 12, show your face. And more specifically, be genuine, be authentic, let your audience get to know you, because it really does make a difference in building that social relationship or parasocial relationship and helping people feel like they know you, even if they haven't actually met you yet. People get really, really nervous going to see a new stylist, going to a new salon, and the more we can do to help mitigate that fear, the better. If you think of the people you follow, you can probably name a couple of them where you really feel like you have a connection with that person, even if you've never met them and even if you've never done more than like their posts. Think about that person's authenticity. Think about the fun that that person has with social media. Think about that person's style of content and see if there's anything that you can take from that and replicate on your own page. Number 13, and this is kind of similar, do a video tour of your salon. People can really be nervous going into a new business, and we really care about our hair. Our hair is such a big component of how we feel about ourselves and is really such a big component of our self-image. And people really care a lot about that. And it can be really, really nerve-wracking going to see somebody new. So if you can do a tour of your space, if you can give people a little bit of a teaser or a little bit of comfortability of what being in their space is going to be like, they may feel more comfortable going in. Also, if you have this really polished, beautiful salon presence on Instagram, or your feed is full of really, really beautiful hair of maybe some similar hair types, that person may feel like, oh, I don't know if I belong here. I don't know if I can be part of this club. It maybe feels a little bit exclusive or a little bit beyond my reach. If you do something like a salon tour, and even if you have someone narrate it, or if you literally just pick up the phone and then you have your guest services manager walk you through the salon and just like you were a new guest and post that on social, that can make a big difference in helping people ease their nervousness before they actually come in for the first time. And they can see, oh, wow, that person's really friendly. That salon seems really nice. This is maybe somewhere that I would like to be. Basically, anything you can do to help improve that decision-making process and help smooth it out makes a big difference. Number 14 is get local. And I'm specifically talking about location tags and hashtags. If you think about people who can come across your content on social media, it's literally anybody in the entire world. If you think about people who will actually physically come into your salon for an appointment, that's probably people in your neighborhood, people in your city, maybe even people a little bit outside of your city. But beyond that, most likely not. The farthest I've seen somebody come to our salon is an 8-hour drive, and even that is a bit of a stretch. The majority of people who come into your salon live in your local area. So it's important to do whatever you can to be seen more by people who live in your local area than by people who live 2 states over. This is something that's great for both salons and stylists. And that first thing is tagging your location. That can be your actual salon's location. That could be your neighborhood. That could even be a really busy location that's maybe nearby your salon. Say there's a event center or a mall or a really popular restaurant that's near your salon where maybe people post photos pretty often. If people are looking at that location tag, it might be useful to see you. And the second one is including location-based hashtags. If you use the hashtag hair, I guarantee you your post will never be seen by anybody who's looking at that hashtag. People are looking for things that are more specific. And yes, Instagram has gotten a lot smarter, less people use hashtags, but that doesn't mean that nobody uses hashtags. So for example, if I'm on Instagram and I'm looking for hairstylist in this location, there's probably a lot of hashtags that are location-based, hairstylist, location, salon, etc. And those can still be useful in getting found in those searches. And number 15 is similar, which is find engaged shoppers in your area. So you might be wondering, how the heck do I find that on social media? And there's a few tricks that I like to use to really find people who can be great connections and help that outward engagement. The first thing you want to do is come up with a list of businesses in your area or even local influencers that are specifically local to your city, your neighborhood, etc., who are active or who have, medium to large followings. I'm not looking for like a million followers here. I'm looking for somebody that maybe has at least 800. Do not discount the micro influencer. The next thing you want to do is go onto their page, go onto their most recent posts, and see who is engaging with them. And just a caveat here, when you're looking for other local businesses, I would not do this with other salons. But for example, if you're like a hair salon only and down the street there's like a nail salon, that might be a good option. If there's a really popular restaurant, if there's anything else in your business that's local specific and popular, go to their page, go onto their most recent posts, and follow the people that are commenting and engaging with them. You are going to find people who are in your local community, who are engaged, who are active on social, and who are patronizing other businesses in your neighborhood. That can be a super powerful place to generate a social connection, especially if you follow them, maybe add them to your favorites list and start engaging with them on a regular basis. If they're engaging with other local businesses, they also are engaging with other people on social, so they're highly engaged, and they're also shopping at other local businesses. So maybe next time they're in the area, if they go to the restaurant down the street, they might see, oh yeah, that's Salon. They followed me on Instagram and they commented on the photo of my dog that I posted the other day. They seem pretty cool. Maybe I'll check them out. This can be a really powerful way to find people in your neighborhood that can have a high likelihood of converting into loyal guests. Number 16, this is a video specific tip, and that is the 6-second cut. If you're scrolling through your social media feed and you see a video that is all one shot and it never moves, and it's just like this, and one person is talking straight to the camera just like this for 3 whole minutes, you may not be that engaged, especially if they're just sitting, there's nothing else going on. Typically, another layer of movement can really help get more interest and more engagement and more eyes on your video. So that could be doing maybe a cut every 6 seconds where you slightly change the framing of the video. That could be, doing something with your hands. You'll see people putting on their makeup in videos or doing their hair in videos while they're talking about something. That additional movement helps generate a little bit more interest and a little bit more engagement because we're not just sitting and listening to somebody talk straight to the camera. We have another element of motion. We have another element of interest that's happening that's helping us stay engaged. So the way that you can utilize this, even if you have a video that's shot like this, where it's just one shot straight on with the phone, something you can do while you're editing it is just split the clip every 6 seconds, every 5 seconds even, and then slightly change the framing so that you have some variation, you have some difference, you have some interest. It'll definitely get you a little bit more engagement and more eyes on your content. Next, we have hooks. And I'm talking about 5 reasons why your hair is dry. The one thing you're doing wrong. Here's what you're doing, and it's damaging your hair and you don't even know it. Hooks definitely give me that kind of like BuzzFeed article vibe, but the fact is they work. People are drawn in by those things. And even myself, I'm somebody who's very aware of these marketing methods. When I'm scrolling through my feed and I see somebody who's like 3 reasons you're doing this wrong, or the one thing you need to know about this particular concern. If it's something that's relevant to me, I am definitely stopping and I'm definitely watching the video. Hooks do make a difference and they are abundant to find. And they can also be a lot more tailored. For example, if you're this type of person and you're struggling with this type of concern, here's the one thing you need to know. More specific can generally also help you reach a more specific audience of people that you're trying to find. For example, if you're a stylist, if you're really into doing like vivid fashion colors, maybe a great hook for you could be 3 things making your rainbow color fade faster than it should be. It doesn't have to be super complicated, but it can help get people's interest. You really only have 3 seconds at the start of that video to actually hook somebody in, and the actual function of a text hook helps keep that person's interest to the end of the video. Number 18 is using engaging stories. And just a side note here, more stories in general. If you're posting stories, people are engaging with them, people are interacting with them, and you're posting frequently, the more frequently you're posting, the more you're going to end up on the very left side of the very top of their home screen. And also, if they're seeing your stories, they're engaging with your stories, then they're more likely to see the rest of your content when you actually post it. But coming back to engaging stories specifically. So, a couple ways to do this. The first one that I always recommend is using the sticker feature. The sticker feature is where you find things like polls, rating, questions, links, all of these things. These are all really fantastic tools in generating more engagement and more of that kind of social interaction on your stories specifically. I know for me and for most people, if I see a button on a story, I'm probably going to click it. Here's a new trend. Are we into it or is this wild? Those stickers are a key piece to starting that engagement and starting that social interaction. Another great thing that you want to try is try to start a conversation with your stories. So that can also be reacting to new trends. That can be, good news. Maybe you have someone in your salon who is promoted. That can be sharing any of those elements where you can kind of start that conversation. Even doing something like sharing your brand story or asking your guests for feedback, that can be a great way to generate that engagement, which is then going to help drive other people seeing the rest of your content. Number 19, these are your 3 pillars for content. You want to educate, you want to entertain, or you want to inspire. Education is so great, especially as a business and especially as a stylist. You can do tutorials, you can talk about how to use products, you can talk about how to take care of certain types of hair at home or taking care of your hair after certain types of services. There's so many things that you can do in the education realm. And the best part is if you can help people take care of their hair better at home, then you may be able to increase your retail sales. And you're also just generally going to increase people's overall satisfaction with their hair between their appointments. And I don't know about you, but if I'm waking up 4 weeks after my hair appointment and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, my hair looks incredible. My hairstylist did such a good job. I know how to style it. It still looks fantastic. I am 110% going back and seeing that person. Next, entertainment. If you ever see those dog accounts that have like a gazillion followers, it's because they're entertaining. Puppies are so cute. It is what it is. But unfortunately, we can't all be dog specific accounts. So sometimes we have to work a little harder in order to entertain, but trends can be a really fun way to get into that, to utilize that, and still be really current, still be really up to date. Now, this may not be something that's really relevant to your brand. You may say, oh, we want to be more education and inspiration focused. If entertainment isn't really a component for you, that's fine. But one thing I will say with the rising prevalence of Instagram really valuing that shareability component and seeing more kind of like meme type content really doing well on the platform because of, again, the share component and the value of the share action, it might be worth considering how you can implement some entertainment components to the content that you're already creating. And last is inspiration. Think about like the lifestyle influencer. Think about the beautiful home decor that you see. Think about all of those things that you save and you're like, oh, wow, I wish my house looked like that, or I wish my closet looked like that, or I wish my hair looked like that. This is a great place where you can showcase what you do really well. And you can also encourage people to save that content for later, for next time they're getting their hair colored, etc. The most valuable content and the content that's going to do the best for you either educates, entertains, or inspires your audience. Number 20, and I saved the best for last, this is probably the most important, consistency. If you do any of these 20 tips in this year, get consistent. And there are so many different ways to do this. If you're running your own account, especially a business account, and you're finding that you're posting like once every 2 weeks, then this might be an opportunity for you to hire somebody to do your social media. This may be an opportunity for you to get some help doing that. This may be an opportunity for you to take some of the, on average, probably a couple hours a day you're spending on social media and recapture that so it actually helps build your business and build your brand and get more people in your chair. If you want to get more followers, post more. If you want to see better results on social, post more. If you want to get better at creating content, post more. The more you do these things, the better you get at them. And the more it becomes second nature to be on social, to share things on social, to create content on social, the better you get at it. I always explain to new stylists or even stylists who've been in the industry for ages who are just starting a professional account, quantity beats quality every time. And I know that's counterintuitive because as hairstylists, we really want quality. We really want things to look great. But let me ask you this. How was your first haircut? When you think back to hair school and the first haircut you ever did, or the first blowout, or the first color you ever did on a mannequin or on a person, was that your best one? Probably not. Because for literally 100% of people, the first time you do it is not the best time. You have built up your skill set now to the point where you are amazing at doing those cuts. You're so good at doing those colors. You have all of this experience under your belt for how to do those services. So why would you expect to be able to create incredible content when you've never done it before, or you don't have very much experience doing it? It's not realistic. In order to achieve quality, you have to start with quantity. And I promise you, if you find a hairstylist that has like 10,000 followers on Instagram, if you looked into their archive, you would probably see some pretty terrible hair photos and videos because we all have to start somewhere. So this is your sign for this year. Just start. If you have gained any message from this podcast today and from all of our other podcasts, I want to tell you, just get started. Getting started is the number one hardest part with any new habit you're trying to form. And if you can start, then you are well on your way to succeeding. Thank you for listening. Leave us a review, share with your team, follow us on social, and of course, tune in next time. We appreciate you.